The idea is that you invest yourself, you give yourself to the moves, to the practice with this intent. Now, relating to this is a statement Osensei made, the 5 steps to awakening or to enlightenment, which would relate to this because, for instance, Osensei says at different times in Aikido you move from enlightenment to enlightenment. Right? You become enlightened about an aspect of existence of yourself or reality in regard to the moves, and you have another one. Okay. And the word in Japanese for that awakening enlightenment is satori. So, the 5 steps to satori. The first one is kairi miru. That is, you look back over your life. Now, Osensei is not talking about people who are like criminals or who have had terrible things or done terrible things. He's just a normal person. If they really look at their life, what a waste. And look at us in modern times. What are we? I mean, essentially our life, we're supposed to consume, and we're supposed to be good, and we're supposed to get good marks, and underneath all that is all this competition and stuff going on, goes on in school. How many times in school have we mistreated some other child because of something, To really look at your life. And the next word is osoreru, you are horrified. Next word is hajin, you are ashamed. There's another one like that. And then from that, you reach satori. So if one takes that position, then Misogi Aikido's Misogi makes even more sense. Now it's very hard in the West because I was explaining to Bjorn, right? In Japan, the negative emotion that gives people impetus to change is shame. Right? But the equivalent in the Christian world is guilt. Now, guilt does not help you change. Guilt just locks you in. If you really think about what guilt does to you, it just doesn't give you a chance, right? So it's harder in the West to accept that. Because kairi miru osoreru, that means I'm a sinner. It doesn't leave you any way out, right? Except to follow the Christian way, which can work too. It's not to say that you can't attain awakening and enlightenment and attain truth through the Christian narrative. I'm not saying that, but just generally, right? If we look at how it works, right? Where in Japan it's much simpler. Evil and sin do not exist except as something that can be washed, cleaned, swept away. Right? So that idea of misogi, right, makes a lot of sense in that context. But that has to do with your intent in practice. Right? Now, because that is lost, then what we have is technique. Is this the right way to do the technique? Is that the right way to do the technique? Blah, 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 blah. Right? That has nothing to do with that. The only thing about the technique is, first of all, the techniques of Aikido are meant to connect you. They're misogi, and they're also meant to connect you to divine energy. And this is real. And there are different levels of divine energy. Now, when we talk about dimensions, we can also think about, so like that action of misogi from the Japanese, from the Shinto standpoint, that bucket of water, if you do that, and you are connecting with other dimensions when you're doing it. And that's why Aikido is meant to open us to those other dimensions. And then Osensei said that the movements of Aikido bring into, what say, they bring into wago, which is usually translated as harmony, but it doesn't really mean harmony. It means circular unity, circular oneness, the breadth of the three dimensions, the Genkai, the Yukai, and the Shinkai, which means that our movements must happen within those dimensions. So this means that Aikido is purification. It's not a physical practice that you do, So, as I say, most people practice Aikido because, usually they have ideas, I say, of weakness or, something that they're trying to correct in themselves. But they're not trying to correct at this level of Misogi. So what you're doing in Aikido is you're not learning to become strong or whatever. What you're learning is how to connect the unity of yourself, which is expressed by the unity of Ki and the body and the mind. And in Aikido techniques, all those things function as one. And in a certain sense, we're learning the Aikido techniques so that our being expresses itself as one. And then, of course, in Aikido, we find that oneness through our partner. Right, as we see many times. If I do the technique well or in the true direction of Aikido, it produces a result in the partner. So that there's the oneness of Ki, mind, and body, which I'm developing as I move. And then there is the oneness with the partner. Right. So not only is there the unity here, but through the partner. Right? And that's how the Aikido techniques work. So it's not a matter of a martial art technique where I catch his mind and then I block him here, right? The point is here. The point is that he's already So then as I do that, right, I have to connect with him. So not only do I have to connect with him here, but I have to connect from here to here. So I have to connect with the whole thing. So that's my not only am I connecting, but the moves start to open up other dimensions. That's what we're working for. Right? In terms of the basic practice, that's done by continuously doing the move 4 times without stopping. And as you do the move 4 times without stopping, your body will correct itself. Now that correction must happen as an aspect of the unified body, mind, and Ki. So it's like I do the move and I think, my mind says, oh, this is what's wrong. That's the mind, it's not unified. That's why we do it 4 times without stopping. And generally, if you do a technique 4 times,